Hello guys, welcome back to Deska Discusses. Yes, it is Friday the 13th. Yes, and I'm wearing my Ghostbusters t-shirt and it is a scary, scary day. But what's really annoying is that I don't know where my Friday the 13th t-shirt went. But, doesn't matter. What are we here to do today? Sorry, let me speak. I'm going to be ranking the Friday the 13th films from worst to best. So, let's do this, shall we? Because this could take a while. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, please. And we'll get to it. But, my worst. Well, I'm going to put right now, you'll see what I'm typing in. Jeez. Friday the 13th, Part 5. Which is A New Beginning. This is, I think, the worst Friday the 13th film. And why is that? Well, let's go back a second. Why am I doing this? 1, because it's Friday the 13th. 2, love me a good horror film. Yeah. 3, I just thought I haven't really done much on Jason Voorhees and the Friday the 13th films back in the day. So I thought, well, why not? Now, let me just double check my chat here. Everything's all good. 1 sec. Alright, so where were we? Sorry. A New Beginning. The problem with this lies a few things. Well, 4.8 out of 10. Okay, that doesn't really, Still haunted by his past. Tommy Jarvis, who as a child killed Jason Voorhees, wonders if the serial killer is connected to a series of brutal murders occurring in and around the secluded halfway house where he now lives. The problem with this is that, and spoiler alert for the whole thing, guys, it's not even Jason in the end. Like, it is the worst Friday the 13th film out there. The kills are okay. Yeah, he's wearing the hockey mask, but we find out it's not actually Jason who's doing the killing. So this ranks as my worst Friday the 13th film. Now, you're probably thinking, hey, Dasko, well, why didn't you put something else that's just as bad? And I think you know what I'm going to type in now. Jason X. Coming in at number 11 in terms of second worst. So we're just going to do worst was A New Beginning, and going into the ranking, 11th is Jason X. Oh boy, what am I going to say about Jason X? Well, Jason Voorhees in space, it doesn't work for me. There's probably one good kill in this, maybe, but apart from that, it is just total trash. I'm talking like, this could be last as well, but I think A New Beginning definitely takes the cake. This could have been the worst film out there, but I just really think that a Jason movie where it's like, you don't have Jason in it, that's why A New Beginning takes the number 1 spot as the worst film. Jason X is it's something that you see once, maybe twice, and that's it. One time is enough. Seriously, this is just total trash, and I'm dropping that bomb. It is total rubbish. Rubbish. Again, hit that bomb. Yeah, love me my sound effects, sorry. Okay, anyone on the chat? Let's have a brief look. No one there. Well, yeah, there you go. Okay, coming in at number 10 out of 12, right? Because I am actually including Freddy vs. Jason in this as well. We've got Jason Goes to Hell. Yes, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, released in 1993. Now, again, this movie, I don't know if you've seen the movie Shocker, but Avinoam, hello, good to see you. The Final Friday, 1993, 4.2 out of 10. I think that's a bit harsh. This movie is pretty bad, and I'm dropping that bomb again. But the thing is with this is that, I don't know if anyone remembers the movie Shocker, where the guy jumps from body to body, does a very similar thing in there. His supernatural origins are revealed. I don't know what the hell they're talking about here. He gets some sort of spear that kind of like, I don't know. It's just so dumb. Like, it just doesn't make sense. They're trying to make this whole... They're trying to give him some sort of different kind of supernatural backstory. It just doesn't work. at all, which is a shame. Yeah, and the one good thing about it, no, actually, hang on, it's about that blood relative thing. The one good thing about it is at the end, the last shot of his mask on the ground, and then Freddy's hand grabs it and pulls it down. I'll give him that. That was pretty good. So coming in at number 10 is Jason Goes to Hell. Coming in at number 9, Friday the 13th part. Which one do you think I'm going to do? Part 2. And you're probably thinking, how could you put something like part 2 at the 10th best, or, third worst? Well, I'll tell you why. It is generic. I know it's meant, it's the sequel to the original classic, but I don't like the mask, the sack. Not a huge fan of that. But it is literally the same film as part 1, apart from the big twist, the big thing that it's Jason for one, but also, yeah, I just didn't like it. It is boring. The characters are boring, very wooden. The only creepy bit is the one that you see here right at the end of the film, with Betsy Palmer a little bit, Mrs. Voorhees. That's the only creepy bit. And I think the video game on Xbox actually does touch on this film. Oh, that touches on all of them a lot, but you can actually have the sack on your head, and you do find a hut with Mrs. Voorhees' remains, which is quite creepy. So apart from the creepy ending, not a huge fan of this. That's why it is 4th worst. Now, moving on to number 8 on my list, out of 12, yeah, so number 8, 5th worst, is Jason Takes Manhattan. So, part 8. The problem with this is that the concept of it being in Manhattan, I remember as a kid thinking, oh, cool, Jason's actually going to New York or Manhattan or whatever. But, like, literally 70% of the film, he's on a cruise ship. He's in the river at the start. Then he's on this cruise ship where there's some pretty brutal kills. I'll give it that. But then when he actually gets to Manhattan, he's not really in it that much. There is like a Times Square scene, which apparently is not even in Times Square. So, but one thing I do love is Kane Hodder playing as Jason. And for the films that he was in, I think there was probably 3 or 4, I can't remember. You can tell his presence, and 100%, the Kane Hodder Jason has got that menacing walk, the menacing breathing, the shoulders, everything like that, to exhibit like acting skills like he did without even speaking. Kane Hodder did a good job, but the film itself, not in my top 5, not even close. It is number 8. It's not too bad, but it's not too good either. Not bad, not bad. Okay, coming in at number 7. Let's go. Friday the 13th. I can't even write. The final chapter. Now, people could be shocked that I've put this as 7th, right? And it's not even my top 5 best. So it's in there, but it's like we're getting to the point where hang on one sec. There we go. We're getting to the point where I know that Corey Feldman's in this, yes. After being mortally wounded and taken to the morgue, murderer Jason Voorhees spontaneously revives and embarks on a killing spree as he makes his way back to his home at Crystal Lake. Okay. The thing is about it, I know we've got Corey Feldman who plays a really good role in it, but the film itself, it's got an interesting concept, very weird ending. It's just not up to scratch for me. Some memorable moments. Crispin Glover, the guy from Back to the Future, is in it, the dad, George McFly, and that's some funny bits in there where he's dancing. It's hilarious, but it does have some good character development in this in terms of him and his friends. It's not just a generic bunch of teenagers that get slashed up, which in the end it does. There's some funny bits in this as well, but I put the final chapter at number 7 on my list out of 12. So 7th best, 6th worst, or 5th worst, whatever. As you can see, the rankings are getting better. So yeah. Alright. This could be controversial. Let's go. Okay, ready. So, Friday the 13th. Okay, my 6th best Friday the 13th film is got to be The New Blood. Now you're probably thinking some people really don't rank this well. 5.3 out of 10 out of 34,000 views. Alright. I don't mind this. So, after Tommy Jarvis chained into underwater, the dormant Jason is accidentally released from prison by a telekinetic teenager. Now only she can stop him. So, this is pretty much where we see Jason fight someone, but we've got kind of like a Carrie versus Jason Voorhees kind of film here. Carrie being the Stephen King film where she can control everything with her mind, telekinesis. A lot of people don't like this. I actually didn't mind this growing up because it's actually pretty cool. Like, it was kind of like a foreshadowing of things to come in terms of later on with VIIJason. But the dad, that's the dad from Weekend at Bernie's. Anyway, I put this as number 6. Now, you may not agree with that, but I think it's actually a solid film. I don't know why the ranking's that bad. There is some cheesy bits in it. The acting's a bit wooden as well. The acting in all these aren't that good, but it's actually not too bad. So, putting it at number 6. Now, let's get to top 5s, shall we? Alright. Let's go. In 5th position, Friday the 13th, Part 3. Which is not a TV episode, come on. I spelt it wrong. Friday the 13th, Part 3, or as it's known, 3D. Which is... Alright, so... Part 3 in 3D, yes, it's cheesy. This deserves 5th spot. Why? Well, again, I'm not even going to read the synopsis because they're all the same. The 3D effects were really cheesy. I didn't get to see it in 3D, but by watching this, you see some of the stupid stuff they do towards the camera, like people throwing things at the camera, a yo-yo or whatever it is. There's some ridiculous things that they do to get that 3D effect happening. But the one redeeming thing is that Jason does get his hockey mask in this. It's not Kane Hodder playing Jason, but I do rank the suspense and some of the tension in this and the cheesiness of some of the kills. But yeah, definitely Friday the 13th Part 3 deserves to be in 5th position, mainly because he does get the hockey mask, and it is that quintessential slasher film that when you think of Friday the 13th, you'd think the hockey mask one in the Crystal Lake. This is it. It's before all the, put it this way, it's before all the subplots of Tommy Jarvis came into it and the New Blood and all that stuff, Manhattan. This was the only one where he's actually just killing people with his mask on, right? So that's it. Now, we're getting into controversial territory here. Number 4. Friday the 13th. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, okay, what's the big deal? Well, I spelt it wrong again. Ah, come on. Sorry, guys. Alright. I am talking about the remake. A lot of people did not like this, and 101,000 people voted. 5.5 is where it's at. I didn't mind it. Apart from Jason running, right, which I found a bit annoying because in other films it doesn't really run. The main characters are a bit... how do you put this? They're okay, but apart from the running and the fact that he uses a bow and arrow, this is actually not too bad, and it does give us that concept of not the concept, but it does actually, like, it's a shame they didn't do a sequel to this because I think they actually did a pretty good job with it. There's a few things I could have cleaned up, but if I had to pick between watching this remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, or Manhattan, or like Jason New Beginning, or any of those ones that were in my like fourth or 5th worst films, definitely be picking the remake 100% because it's actually watchable. It's not total trash, even though the rating's not the best. But anyway, whatever. Number 3. So we're getting into the top 3. Well, I only need to write a couple of things here, which is Friday the 13th Part 4, Jason Lives. What do you say about this? I've made some notes here. Tommy Jarvis goes to the graveyard to get rid of Jason Voorhees' body once and for all, but it never really brings him back to life instead. Jason lives. How am I going to put this? Well, it's the comedic aspect of this film that I think is hilarious. It sometimes doesn't mean to be funny, but it is. The characters' dialogue is actually really funny as well if you listen carefully, and the way they react to certain things. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's just, I think this film is aware of itself and how cheesy and how cheesy it actually is. The fact that they've got the James Bond opening at the start with the slashing and then the blood comes down just like James Bond is pure ridiculous, but it's actually hilarious. It is full of the gore in this is pretty full on as well. I think it's definitely belongs in the top 3. The guy who plays Tommy Jarvis does a good job as well. It is something, and yeah, the scenes in the forest, like this whole thing, dead, and then he kills that guy. There's some really funny scenes in this. It's not meant to be funny at times, but it has got the comedic value. So I think if you had friends and you're like, all right, which one am I going to watch out of the old ones? Obviously, you watch the original, but after that, you could show them something like this just to have a laugh, and it's definitely worth it. I mean, they're all pretty funny in their own way, but this is actually pretty funny, and it's gotten a 6, which is pretty good, I must say. It's aware of its ridiculousness, and good on it for doing that. So yeah. Number 2. So we're getting into the top 2 now. Freddy vs. Jason, 2003. Now you're like, hey, Daska, this is not even a Jason film. Well, I classify it as a Jason film because Jason's in it. It's a crossover film between Freddy and Jason, and I think it does a really good job. Now, the ranking, what have we got here? The rating, 5.7. I think it deserves at least a 6.5. It gets a lot of hate. There is some brutal violence in this. But there is some pretty funny comedy from Robert Englund playing Freddy, of course. I'm a huge Freddy fan. More so Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween rather than Jason. But I'm here doing this because it is Friday the 13th, Yeah, scary. But I am putting Freddy vs. Jason at number 2. It is something that I can chuck on at any time if you want to watch a Jason film with a bit of humor and have Freddy in it, because remember, Jason doesn't actually speak, whereas Freddy does, so it's a good balance between the two. Yes, some of the storyline is it's actually not too weird, the whole thing about trying to get Jason into the dream world or bring Freddy into the real world. I actually didn't mind it, so I'm dropping the bomb. It was number 2 for me. And number 1. Well, look, I'm just going to type this properly. Yep, good old Betsy Palmer. Now, spoilers. We're talking about number 1, of course, is part 1. The one that started it all. Like I said, I'm more of a Halloween fan, but this pretty much ripped off Halloween, but, in the forest or in the Crystal Lake. Okay, we get that, but I know Halloween did it a lot better. But Friday the 13th part 1, and they just spoiled the ending right there. It has one of the most epic kind of last scenes in film history, I think, and it still freaks me out to this day watching that last bit. It's coming, but it's creepy and it's scary and it's a big jump scare. Betsy Palmer plays a great role as Jason's mum, and we find out a lot about what happened to him when he was a kid. We find out the storyline of Jason Voorhees. We find out the mythos behind that. Find out the mythos behind all that. I think it's a great film, and it deserves number 1 on the list as the best Friday the 13th film. Now, if you don't agree with that, well, that's fine, but it is Friday the 13th. Don't forget to do anything. Don't forget to not walk under a ladder or black cat, all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. So, that has been pretty much it, people, from what I can gather. If you're watching this after it's been done, I just want to say, well, yeah, leave a like, comment, Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the ranking that I had. Was I right? Was I wrong? Don't forget that... Oh, there we go. There's the thumbnail right there. That's going to be the one that's going to be live on the channel soon. So watch it. Let me know what you think. And just want to say thanks to all you guys for supporting, watching, liking, commenting. I feel like I'm in an Oscars speech here. Thank you so much. I want to get to 400 subs by the end of the year. That'd be great. So yeah, thanks guys. And don't forget, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Daska Discusses. 3, 2, 1, boom.